Today, we're very proud to announce that Hyperloop One has just closed our Series B1. So we've closed a total of $85 million in new funding for the company to continue going from our tests that we did this summer, showing the world that Hyperloop is not just a fantasy, it's real. We've built it in the deserts of Nevada. That brings our total funding to $245 million. And that will allow us to continue to scale the company. We're 300 employees strong in LA and in Vegas, and we have offices also in Dubai and the United Arab Emirates. And we're very excited about that announcement. It includes some really great investors who continue to believe in us. Investors from the past rounds like DP World, who've invested in our previous rounds, are an example of the types of investors: GE Ventures, Khosla, Joe Lonsdale's fund, Justin Fisher Wolfson's fund. They all have backed us in a very strong way. Summa Group as well.
So what are the steps
Caspian Ventures
from here that need to take place, and how long will that take till we see this in action? And what's the likely first link up? What cities?
That's a great question. We are now graduating from the R&D stage, which is we went from an idea to actually building this in 3 years. It was a lot of hard work by the team. Now we're evolving into the commercialization phase of the company. So we're in very deep negotiations with some governments around the world to knock on wood. Have to be humble and pray that we succeed in those negotiations, and if that happens, we should be able to break ground in somewhere in 2018, 2019, and have the first operational Hyperloop by Hyperloop One built somewhere in the world. We're hopeful that it'll be in the Middle East first.
I presume you've done the studies across the United States. Which sort of cities are most ripe for the type of link-up that you're going to be able to provide?
That's a great question. I mean, as an American, I would love for Hyperloop to be here in America. The political regulatory realities and framework can be very slow. And there has to be essentially a completely new regulatory framework for Hyperloop, because it's not high-speed rail. It's not rail. So our dream would be to connect many different cities into kind of super regions. So as an example, Vegas, LA would be a dream. Eric Garcetti, the mayor, just went to Peru and signed the 2028 Olympics. And being able to have the Olympics spread across the region would be great, because then you can do LA, Vegas in 28 minutes, city center to city center. New York to DC would be about 30 minutes, city center to city center. And then it would allow people to live and work anywhere. So that would be the dream. I'm realistic and practical, and I think it'll probably happen in the Middle East first.
In the past, Shervin, you've said that and I don't know whether we ever confirmed it or whether we know it's true, you have certain approval, like nods of approval from government officials in the United States, but that you haven't really told us who, and people aren't really sure that it's a firm commitment. Where does it stand for what you're able to do in the U.S.?
Thanks for that question, Joe. You're always a bit of a troublemaker in your questions, so I know you very well. And what I do want to say, and that, because we have to say this very accurately.
Yes, I bet.
We have no approvals in the United States for any projects.
But you've got you see body language, or that seems to indicate that they're open to something like that?
It wouldn't be prudent for me to comment on body language.
As far as regulatory, is it in a Trump or a Republican administration, are you more optimistic about how quickly you could get things like this done in terms of infrastructure?
I mean, President Trump is a builder. He is a builder. His whole life he's been a builder. So I'm optimistic that under his leadership, things can become accelerated, and new infrastructure projects like this can create millions of jobs and change our economy. So I'm hopeful that his leadership is allowed to be expressed especially in the infrastructure space, because it could really be great for the country.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.